Welcome to the Time for Heroes podcast.
Hello, my name's Steven Deary. I'm the drummer from Smaller, and I'm here today on Time for Heroes podcast.
Steven Deary, many thanks for coming on the podcast.
Not a problem, Matt.
I've been chasing you for a good couple of months now, since I've seen you back on Instagram, and it perked my imagination. I can remember yous way back in the 90s when I first got into music. So to see yous pop up again, man, it was just one of the kind of nostalgia hits. We're going to kind of talk about your career. Obviously, you're back. You've been playing gigs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's talk of recording the album as well. But what we're going to do before that is go right back to the start. What was life like for a young Stephen growing up as a kid?
Growing up? Oh, gosh. Well, I come from a musical family, big musical family. Mum was a singer. My granddad was a drummer. My uncle was a guitarist. My brother was also a singer, Digsy. And my cousins had a band called The Real People, who you may have heard of. So music everywhere, all the time, singing, playing. And so, yeah, it was always inevitable that I was going to, go down that path. And I didn't want to be a guitarist. There was too many guitarists in our family. Because I play drums, things like that. So I'm the only drummer. I think there's about 10 family members all playing at a decent level. Michael is a bass player. I'd say Chris and Tony from The Real People. Jamie is a singer. And then it just goes out and out and out. Yeah. Growing up was just, music everywhere.
And obviously, like you say, all these family members. So like yourselves and The Real People, like growing up, then were you close, like in age and kind of growing up together?
Yeah, definitely. So there's Tony from The Real People and my brother. They were in a road show sort of thing together. They had around about the same age. There's a couple of years. I think Digsy's up a bit older. But they were in a road show from the age of 12, 14. And they'd, go round doing gigs and stuff. So they were very close. Then we had me and our Chris. Again, I'm slightly older than our Chris. We would used to hang out together, played in little bands together at the age of, again, 14, whatever. So, yeah, and we're all very close, even to this day. So,
and so with all this kind of musical family round about you, what was when you were young and you were getting into music, what sort of music were you listening to? What was kind of the main influences of the time?
Well, there wasn't really influences. There was just music around all the time. I mean, my mum loved Patsy Cline, the Ink Spots, the Beatles, even Steely Dan, and then my brother, my elder brother, that is, not Digsy, he was into like the Stylistics and Gladys Knight and the Pips. So there's just this weird sort of stuff going on. And I don't think it was until, because Peter's Dixie's, he's about 7 years older than me. And that's a big difference when it's 17 and 10, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was by this time he was in a band called Cook the Books. Very well known around Liverpool. Then they got signed. They had a #1 around Europe. They appeared in a film and stuff. And they were touring everywhere with massive bands in excess. Unarmored Trading, Men at Work, everything, all of this business. But there was one band that stood out for me, and that was they'd done a tour with the Undertones.
Right.
And I think I can't remember how old I was. I was youngish, but that was the one that I went, wow, yeah, that was a massive influence on me. So don't think Joan Armatrading was.
And like round about that time then in Liverpool, what like specifically kind of your hometown, what was the music scene back then? Because obviously I mean, there've been various different scenes in Liverpool for the Mersey beat the Beatles right through to now. Obviously, I was talking about interviewing the Sway and Jamie Webster, but there is so much has came. So, what was it like when you were about?
Then, yeah, there's always a music scene, a vibrant live music scene. Always now, going right back. So at the time, there was like the Bunnymen, Teardrops, Wah, Pale Fountains. There was just loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, and it's just never stopped. It's just a conveyor belt of talent coming right through. Back from when you, as you just said, it's like the '60s. It's just there's always been a dead vibrant music scene in Liverpool. And it's become the norm almost. Just sort of. I don't know. It's you hear people and they say these amazing stories. Just come back from a tour in America or something like that. But I've heard it that much, or I've had a number one, or it just becomes a bit normal because it happens all the time in Liverpool. If that makes any sense. So
yeah, totally. I mean, like I was away seeing Dave McCabe last month. And I'm quite pal with him. Obviously, I had him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Text him back and forth. And when you think of a guy like that, I mean, he's fucking famous all over the world. He's wrote,
isn't he?
Songs for. He's wrote one of the biggest songs ever. But he's like the work that he's done with other people as well. That I mean, a lot of people maybe don't know. It's all around the world, and that's the case. Yeah, I mean, you look at Jamie Webster coming up now, and he's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just constant.
He is. Yeah, he is.
When did you decide that you were obviously Digsy's already uncooked the boots? So when did you decide you were going to form your own band?
Well, you just sort of fall into it, really. So I think I started having drum lessons from the age of 12, I think, and then you get a drum kit. So my mum's been watching me. So I started off pots and pans, literally pots and pans. So my mum and dad would go out to the club on a Saturday night. I'd be in the house, and I'd put an Undertones album on or whatever, and I'd have the couch. Remember them plastic couches?
Mm-hmm.
So that was Boss for the Hyatt, dead noisy, and they had these pans, and that's how I sort of learned. And then from there on in, my mum was like that, speaking to our kids, and she said, "Well, he seems into it. Shall I get him a kit?" So he said, "Yeah," and I got a kit. And then I've now got a drum kit, and now people in the area who play a bit of guitar or a bit of whatever in the the local community centre or whatever, where you hang out. So we started going down there, and you're in these little bandy, things. They're not a band. You didn't do anything. You didn't do gigs. You just whatever. And then it wasn't until I was about 18 that I sort of started playing clubs and pubs and social clubs and doing an apprenticeship, if you like. And yeah, so that's when it started. Smaller became a band, really, because Peter had finished with Coot the Books, and the band that I was in, more or less, was coming to an end. It was fizzling out.
Mm-hmm.
And my mum got us together. So she sort of said to him, Stephen's looking for a singer, and then pulled me to one side. Peter's looking for a band. So, and then she so it was my mum really who got Smaller together. And then what's the name? We started rehearsing together, and it worked. It worked from the first rehearsal. So I was like, "Oh my god, sounds boss!" And it's been that way, for years. Like.
So obviously the album came out in 1996. So how long were you going? How long were you gigging before?
We got together about 93, and it was we made quite an impact straight away. Funny enough, someone just sent me a demo, not a demo. When you go to the record company, ask you to come to London and play their studio, and I found one from '93 from Island Records. But anyway, there was a lot of interest straight away. We wanted to keep it low, and we didn't want to be this we just wanted to do supports or play little gigs in Liverpool and whatever. We weren't taking it all super serious and management and no. It was we just enjoyed what we're doing. We're having a laugh. It was the '90s. It was great. Time was brilliant. Bands everywhere, especially Liverpool. Real People, Rain, Space, Cast, Blast. They just finished. But there was loads. All mates. We'd all hanging out with each other. We'd all go to clubs and music venues and all of that. So it was a good vibe as well. So that when we started, there was a really good local interest as well as national. That coming for us. We were going to sign. We got offered a deal with Polydor, but by this time we'd met Noel and Liam and Tim Abbott. So Tim Abbott was he was acting as managing director with Creation Records, and Tim eventually became our manager stroke record company, if you like. So we were going to sign to Polydor, and he said, well, don't sign to Polydor. I'm setting up a new label called Better Records. And it was like total independent, give you all the freedom that you want and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we did. We signed to Better Records. Within a year or so, we'd had all 3 singles out, and then we'd recorded Badly Badly with Mark Coyle, Oasis producer. So yeah, it sort of it doesn't sound quick, but it did. It just moved quite quick, because we were playing all the time.
And the thing is, obviously, having the relationship with Tim Abbott, because if you know somebody like that, I mean, Tim Abbott's again world famous. Everybody knows him through the Oasis connections. But have somebody like that is passionate about you and your music, it's a no-brainer to go with somebody like that than another record company where you might just be another notch in the bedpost.
Yeah, but that's the exact reason we did have our eye on other bands who were signing to the majors and stuff. And it was that sort of, we'll bring out a single, we'll see how that goes, and then might bring another one if that, and then you get dropped or you don't get to do your album. With this, it was a case of you're doing an album, full stop. That's the definite. The songs that he heard and fell in love with, he wanted them out, which became Badly Badly. That was definitely happening. So we weren't getting promises like that. It was all like that. We'll see how it goes, sort of thing. It wasn't like that. It was, this is what's happening. So yeah, that's why we stay. We're still, I'm still mates. I speak to him once a week still.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, next time you speak to him, tell him to get his arse on the podcast. I think I've had a couple of dealings with him and kind of it's messages back and forth, but we've never actually managed to nail a date. So if you can help with that, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, not a problem. He's just someone I've just seen him doing a podcast. I don't know who he was with, but
I mean,
keeps popping up on my Instagram.
He's done all sorts. I mean, I think at some point was he managing Robbie Williams as well at some point?
Yeah. So that was part of our story, the Robbie Williams thing,
right?
So because we had the famous, we'd done a gig in the Roadhouse because Robbie started hanging around with Smaller, and coming to our gigs and this, that, and the other. So we played the Roadhouse in Manchester, and we had Liam there, we had Robbie there. So people just didn't know when we're on stage playing. Half the audience are looking at him. I was like, hang on, this way, come see us.
So, obviously, we're talking about Smaller, but the elephant in the room is the Oasis connection. So we should talk about that. So how did how did that kind of go for a meeting and meeting for the first time and kind of the relationship you had with the band in the early years?
See, what happened was the Real People being my cousins, right? And this was so basically they were on tour with the Inspiral Carpets, and I think they were in Birmingham Hummingbird. So Chris, oh no, and I was mates with Sean, and I said, well, what are you doing? I went, nothing. He went, we're playing here tonight. Do you want to come in, jump in the van? Yeah, sounds. So I went to see them, and I said, what are the band like? Spiral Carpets. He said, they're all right, you know what I mean? But he said, the Rose, he's dead funny. He said, and the monitor man, he's dead funny. Noel and Mark Coyle. So anyway, I meet them, and I meet Noel and that, and he said, I don't just do this, I'm in a band. I said, I'm in a band. He said, I'm in a band with my brother. He said, I'm in a band with my brother. He said, my brother's a knobhead. I said, my brother's a knobhead. So we hit it off straight away. So we said, you're coming to Manchester tomorrow? Yeah, Manchester Academy it was. I said, yeah. Yeah, so I'll come down. I give him a tape. I had a tape in the van, a demo, you know, like one of our first demos that we just done in the rehearsal him or whatever. And I give it to him. So the next night, when I turns up, he makes a beeline for me. Your fucking band's boss. Brilliant. Loved them. Love yous and all that. So he said, and then I think, I'm not so sure if our kid I introduced our kid to Noel or whatever. So that's how it all come about. It was through the real people when they were OGs, and that was that. So then we made a pact to, you know, when they play Manchester, we'll support them in Manchester. And when we play Liverpool, they support us in Liverpool, which happens, which this is what we've done and stuff. But within that time, the real people were given Oasis recording time in their own, they had a studio on the Dock Road there, and they were, so, and we used to go there every Saturday, you know, whatever, you know, we just used to go down there just to hang out. So we'd look like, we'd basically go to clubs in town, and then go back there for a jam all night, and have a session there.
Yeah.
But then Oasis were recording there, so what we'd do, we'd go down there, hang out with them for a bit, and then we go to town, they carry on recording it, and then we come back about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, and party on. So that was how all of that sort of got together with the real people and giving them studio time and stuff and helping them with the career. The Digsy's dinner thing came as a part of during these 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning sessions. Everyone would have a jam, and jump on all different instruments and stuff. And that's what it was, really. That's basically, I don't like saying it. Our kid farted, and all went, oh, stinks that. What did I for your tea? And he went, lasagna. So there it is. So he went home, stays in his head, Digsy, lasagna. Didn't put on about farting him, funny enough, but it would have made it a better song, actually. But yeah, so that was that.
That moment in that studio is kind of immortalised in time forever in that song.
It is. Do you know something? It's a funny thing, right? And I'll tell you this. Digsy's been a songwriter and an amazing singer since he was 40, younger, whatever. He's had number one in Europe. He didn't write it, he sang on whatever. But basically, he's still badly, which is like, you know, an acclaimed album. He's still some amazing songs. He's had some songwriters, Richard Hawley, Paul Weller, Noel, like Fawn, and oh my God, what a singer, what a songwriter, And yet he's most known for farting in a studio and having a song named that. You know what I mean? It's quite sad, really, because he is very, very, very well known. But it's like, we went to see Oasis in Heaton Park, and they were doing Digsy's dinner, and he's standing there with a pint. After crowd to just stand there pointing at him, laughing at it. You know, it's not for me.
But it's that thing where, because Oasis got so massive, and obviously that song, and I can mind seeing the articles in the papers, who has Digsy, and
yeah.
There is that part where it gets people interested, and it's another way of drawing people to the band.
It is.
Once you hear the album, I mean, badly, I put it obviously in the Liverpool bands. You get the Laz album, you get shack. You get it sounds like all that. It sounds like all the big massive albums for your city. So it's up there with everything. So if that helps drag people into that might not have heard it, then
whoops, not that bit. Yeah, it does. I mean, I know what you're saying. It's like sort of good advertising, it's free advertising if you like, whatever. But it became bigger than the band. It did. It really did. So, yeah, it was. It's funny, really, because as I say, he is known for the songwriting and the singing, but he's more well known for Digsy from Digsy's Dinner. It doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If I said, have you heard Smaller? No. Have you heard the Digsy Dinner? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's you get that. Well, do you know what? It's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
But I mean, again, that it all depends who's listening. Because like, if I spoke to my pal at work and said, right, this is who I'm speaking to on the podcast today, he wouldn't know because he's no into music. And the minute the minute I said Digsy's Dinner, he would know.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got other pals that are big into music, ages with me, that are well into the same sort of stuff as yourself, and they would know right away who Smaller are. So you get two types of people. So I mean, so the album, obviously, the other connection. The other connections are obviously Mark Coyle produced the album, and Noel plays on it as well on one of the songs If. So how did that come about? Did that all come about organically, and who decided on Mark Coyle as producer? Was that just for...
God, that was I mean, as I was talking earlier with regards to being the roadies and Noel being a roadie and blah blah blah. And, excuse me, but when we signed the deal with Better Records, Noel had obviously done Definitely Maybe, and he was more of our mate. He really was. He was just, and he still is. Because he was part of the Oasis crew that were coming down to Liverpool, and we were partying anyway. So we had that connection anyway. We really were being at each other. It was a good laugh. And especially with him, what he was doing, it was a no-brainer. He was always going to be doing it, always. And him and our kids, they click like anything. They just read each other musically amazingly. So we had that, and I think with regards to his, I can't even remember how that come across. I just only, it wasn't like this pre-planned thing. I think it was just, we might have been recording in London, and he was hanging around, just, do you want to do that sort of thing? It wasn't like sort of, and we wrote this song for him. It was nothing like that, because the song we had it for years. But funny enough, it's not just one. He appears on another track as well. Not many people know that, but there's a track called Aimless, and it's on the Japanese album. We brought an album out in Japan, and he appears on that. But he just says one word. That's it.
I was listening to that this morning, actually, so I'll need to get back and with my listening ears on and get it properly.
Which one? The Japanese album?
Aye, I was listening to that this morning. Obviously, I've been badly's been...
But he says, what did it? He says, our kid sings, how many times have I heard these words before? And you're there, plenty. And there's like his dull monk accent.
I mean, like the Manchester-Liverpool thing as well, was there ever... I mean, it doesn't sound like there was, but was there ever any friction? Obviously, there's always that perceived rivalry, but I kind of see as the same kind of like-minded people, Mancunians and Liverpudlians.
It's Glasgow, Newcastle, Manchester. I mean, but especially these. I mean, we had loads in common. With all in the bands with our brothers, or brother. We playing similar sounds of music with similar influences. We all, along with the real people, we'd all sorts of bouncing off each other. And yeah, so there was no friction between us and Oasis at all whatsoever. If anything, I'd say. Steve, I haven't seen him for years. I speak to Paul a bit, But I haven't seen Liam and Noel for years or spoke to them. I speak to Coyley. Spoke to him last week, actually.
So, I mean, from that kind of relationship came when Oasis went on like their arena tour. You supported at Irvine Beach along with the Verve.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
The Verve.
So, I mean, absolutely massive gig up here in Scotland. Everybody still talks about it. It's up there, Oasis gigs along with the Barrowlands and Loch Lomond, but Irvine Beach is still high on the
Is
radar. Like,
it?
yeah, man, mega talked
Do you know
about.
something? Tim Abbott's got some footage of Irvine Beach. When I say some footage, I mean hours. Basically, because all he used to do was walk around with a camera, so he's got all the backstage footage. So you'll have like, me and Liam standing there having a conversation with and then it's Ashtoff to be walking past, and then you'll have like I think Ash we're doing the next night on Ocean Colours. I can't remember. See them playing footy, and there's always boss footage. I need to get that off Tim Abbott. It's a must. But yeah, and the shows were big. And as far as I remember, at the time, I think it was the biggest tent in the world. I think so. I think it was the biggest tent in the world.
Pretty sure I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, so it was something I can't remember, because I think it held about 10,000 people, something like that. 9 to 10,000 people there was there, something. But yeah, so yeah, we ended up we started off. We done the first sort of tour that they did, like the what's they called them, the smaller venues,
the
300s,
toilet circuit,
whatever, the toilet circuit, yeah. And then we progressed then to go on to do the bigger shows, the arenas then and stuff like that. That's as I say, we done some big shows like with them, and it was we had a ball, absolute ball.
So I mean, for doing the tours, another thing that you did, obviously you touched on the kind of the Japanese EP.
Yes.
You did a sellout tour of Japan as well. So
that's right.
How did the Japan thing come about? Obviously, I mean, throughout the years, the Japanese have always been big into the British music. So how did kind of they take to use over there?
We done amazing over there. We done amazing. We didn't even know it's because as part of the whole company's job is to get distribution deals, and get you out there and sell your records, blah blah blah. And so they just said, listen, they brought out an album which was, I think it was like B-sides or whatever, and it's done amazing over there. It's like the third best album, selling album over there, behind Cooler Shaker and Oasis at the time. So we went over there. They said, "You're going over to Japan," and we went, "Oh, sound." And then they said, "You're doing a tour." And then as it went on, as it was getting closer to they're going, and it's sold out, and it's this and it's that. So we were like, "So what's going on here?" And so when we flew over there, we had the proper Beatles thing with the screaming people at the airports, and people waiting for us, and then we got put in a thing, people carry it, and then we got to the hotel, get to the hotel, people waiting for us there, all fans and everything. What's going on here? So yeah, it was brilliant. It was weird. So it was weird. The gigs, some of the gigs were like 5 o'clock. So people would go to work and then they go straight to a gig. And so we're playing and standing here with the office club on, like, shirt and ties and stuff like that. And then they're polite. Then at the end, a little bit of a gap. And we're like that going, hang on. And then they start clapping then and all, like. But then it got a bit madder as the tour went on and that. But it was brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. Really good.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the Japanese, obviously. I'm wearing my Celtic top today for the football. So obviously our team has been had a touch of Japan for the last 7 or 8 years, so I'm big into them, and they're the best kind of
Yeah.
people.
It is. Oh, great.
So I mean, for that, the EP coming out, which I mean, it's a long EP. Like as EPs go these days, are like 4 to 6 tracks. So
Yes,
I mean
yeah.
that's basically like a second album. That
It is, yeah.
obviously there was a second album due to come out. Was that again working with Mark Coyle?
Yes, it was. So we went to a residential studio in Lincolnshire called the Chapel, I think. Can't remember. Because we recorded in Dave Stewart's one in London, and that was called the Church or the Chapel, so I was getting mixed up. But anyway, and we went there, we recorded about 12 to 14 songs. And then basically what happened was, within all of this, there was an issue with the record company and Robbie Williams. I don't know. I don't even know what. I couldn't say to you, this happens, because I don't, even to this day, I don't. But whatever happens, we more or less finished the album, if you like, to the mixing stage or to the monitor mixers. And then, but the album didn't get paid for, so it stayed in the studio for years. And that was more or less the end of Smaller. So we recorded the second album. We couldn't really do anything. We couldn't, the record company were having a few problems for whatever reason, I don't know. But we couldn't really tour. We couldn't promote our end. So it was more or less the end type of thing. So about 3 years later, Mark Coyle goes back to the same studio with some other band, and the owner of the studio says, "Whoa, what's happened to Smaller? What an album! That album's brilliant." So he just, he said whatever. And then he at the end of the session, the studio manager gave him the masters back,
Right.
and so we got the album back. So everything's all finished, all the license everything's all done now. So I've now got the masters. So we're just currently, we're speaking to a few different producers at the moment about getting it remixed and mastered and getting out. So hopefully this year we'll finally get it out after what? 20 odd years.
We're talking probably, it's probably about 30 years. We're talking 97.
Oh, don't say that, man. Think of them. I still think I'm
Yeah,
21.
well, we're talking 1997, aren't we? Around about that time. So,
Yeah,
so,
of course,
I mean, next year will be 27. It'll be 30 years. And that's just the thing. I've had a few bands on the podcast. I had the Mardoos, they were at the same time as the Libertines, and their album never came out. I think they were on Pop Tones with McGee. And that never came out. They just released that last year. It was like 20 years. And then I spoke to a band from down Europe, from Manchester, Joanna, and they, so their album was due 1989, and they just brought it out last year. So that was like 38 years or something. So it seems to be the trend, and this is the thing. Like your audience that was there 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they're still interested in you. They're just waiting on.
Well, I'll be honest with you. 20, 30 years ago, there was no social media. There was nothing. I mean, if I knew I have fans in Japan, the bands, you get, the record, when we went to London, the record company would go, "Oh, and is it your fan mail?" And that's how it was, type of thing. But since we've got back together and set it all up again, I mean, jaws at the floor. There's fans all over the world. They know the stuff. Even I don't know. Really, really passionate about the band. So we've been doing T-shirts. I've been sending them off to everywhere: Australia, America, Austria, Spain, it's everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. Just thought it was like we were known in Liverpool and a little bit there. It's really, it's give me a shock at like how I'm not saying they're big, we weren't big, but you know what I mean? It's how well liked we were.
Yeah.
There's a massive respect for us, and that's great. That's that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, as I say, obviously I'm speaking to the Sway at some point. Meant to speak to them tomorrow night, but they're cancelled because of the football, I think. But they are constantly talking about yous, and they hold yous in high regard. So yous are really well received, probably more than you think. Now on that second album that's coming out at some point, Richard Hawley appears on it. Is that correct?
Richard Hawley's on it, yeah, Richard. So how that came about was I went to see the Long Pigs in the Lomax in Liverpool, and they were brilliant. And we were doing Reading that year, and they were on the same stage as us, and I just happened to go there. Didn't go, I never did. I'll be honest, never heard of them at the time, and I was like, wow, these are boss. Went to meet them afterwards in the bar, and I said, oh, we know we're doing Reading with yous. And then when he said, I said who we were, he went, oh my God, he's a boss of it, yous, no yous, all that. So we became friends from there on in. So yeah, and Richard even played with us live somewhere, I can't remember. But yeah, he's a good mate. He is a good mate. He's very good mates with our kids. Again, them two are very close.
So, what's the plans? Do you reckon you'll get the album out this year or next year?
Hopefully. That's the idea. I mean, got to bear in mind, the album's done. It's recorded. We don't need to go and record. So when you're doing an album, it's the recording is the long process. All we need is get this mixed and get it out. So that's, as I say, we're just in the middle of speaking to a couple of different producers, and hopefully it'll be out, by September.
So we come like the kind of ending of Smaller at the time, like kind of how did it end abruptly, or did it just kind of fizzle out?
It fizzled. So, basically, as I said to you earlier, we couldn't tour. There was no budget, there was no this, no that. So I think we'd done the odd Liverpool gig, sort of thing. We might have done a London gig, I can't remember. And then it fizzled. And then we sort of, me and our kids stayed together, and we had a studio, and we just had our mates coming down, and so we had about 20 different mates all just coming down and having, a few little, but it was done. It was well done. So, so the official lineup of Smaller had come to an end in 98, something like that. And then, as I say, after that, that was it. It was done. It was, we tried to carry it on, but it wasn't worth it, and we didn't. So that was that. So yeah, so we've come to an end in 98, Smaller, but then we got back together in 2017. It was quite sad, actually, because it was our mate, Odie Arthur, who's travelled the world with us, done everything with us, everything. He's even on a B-side. We love him that much. We gave him a B-side. He can't even sing or play. So he's on one of the songs called Cob On. He was the roadie. So that was that. So Arthur had a stroke and he lost his eyesight, just like that. So my brother got in touch and said, have you heard about Arthur? And I went, no. And he told me, we've got to do something. So we got back together, not the original lineup, but just me and our kids, and Jason, and we got someone else in. And it was only to do, we've just done a couple of gigs and a charity show for Arthur, and then that was that. And then this year, it was last year, a promoter got in touch with me, and it was all to do with the Oasis 25 tour. And so basically we got offered gigs in America and Argentina. And basically the idea was Oasis would be playing, say, a stadium, and we'd be playing after the show in a local club And so Daddy get flying and they go, well, you know, as they're coming out, we've got Digsy from Digsy's Dinner from Smaller, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, loads of, we weren't known in America at that point. So it was a good, so we were supposed to be doing that, but I hadn't spoken to our kids for 7 years, never mind, hadn't played. So we had like about a month to get a band together, get tight, and get over there. And it was too, it didn't happen. It was just, you know, so we got back together, started rehearsing. It was going great, loving it. We booked a gig, sold out within like 2 days, you know, just like that. Done the gig, brilliant, all loved it. Let's do another one. So then just done another one. This time, you know, that twice as big, and so it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're not committing. Do you know what? We're not committing. We're not going, let's do an album, let's do this. We're just doing it as we're going along. Do we like this? Yeah, it's a good laugh. And when we stop enjoying it, we'll stop. Simple as that.
So that's I mean, so what I've got then, in 2017, I've got that you played Shine On as well. Did you do that?
Oh God, yet.
Because obviously, I mean, that festival is right up your street as well, because again, it brings back all the older fans.
There's a story about that. So basically, when we were rehearsing for the Arthur gig, when people found out that we were back together, I got bombarded with, what do you call it, Stingio tours, Britpop tours, and this and that, and that. There was just loads and loads and loads. And it wasn't the idea that we weren't getting back together. It was just to do a charity show. That was it. And then we got offered Shine On, and that's Dawn was, yeah, you know what? I'll do that. Fancy that. As you say, right up our street. Like-minded bands, you know, all that. So that was that. But the rehearsals weren't going good as such with me and our kids. We're brothers. And the fighting was bad, man. You know, it's bad. So I just went, you knobhead, I'm not doing that. So I just went, I'll end up doing them in before they get off on the M62, honest to God. So I bailed, and they got another drummer in to do it. But I said, it doesn't matter what's happening, I'm doing the charity gig. That's close to my heart massively. So that was that. So I don't know where. I think it's online. I think it's on YouTube, so you might see it, but it's not me.
Yeah,
it's not as good looking as
my
me.
big mate, he goes to it every year, and now he's pals with the guy James that runs it.
James.
I think the last 2 or 3 years he's DJ'd at it now. My big mate, Stevie Moffat, he's called.
I've heard of him. Well, we were supposed to do it. We were supposed to. We got offered it again. November. Oh no, it wasn't March. The one in Lincolnshire. But we were supposed to be doing it. We were on the main stage with the Enemy and the Twang, and then it got pulled. We got pulled, and then we couldn't do it. And it was a bit of a mess. So I don't know. Yeah, as I say, we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah. So I mean, like the pace that you are going at now. So obviously, like, you did that one, the end of the year, Archive, then obviously Camp and Furnace just passed there, and announced. I think you're playing Archive again this December. So I mean that.
Yeah, we are. It's a great venue. It's a local venue. It's our mate's place, and it's, you know what? It's brilliant. It really is good. So we could have played some. We may. Don't know. We may be doing 2 nights. So we've just got one booked in at the moment, and we're gonna keep our eye and see if we want to do the next, 2 nights there. I don't know. We'll just see. But there's just one booked in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean that sounds amazing, and you can tell, obviously, playing the hometown shows and seeing kind of the love that you get for the fan base. That, as you say, you don't know that you had them or the years ago, but they're still there.
Well, do you know something? I tell you what was one of the amazing things for me was, excuse me, was my kids came, and they've never seen me play before because they weren't born. You know what I mean? So I've got 2 daughters. One's 22, one's 15. And, they'd never seen me play in the band. So they were standing there right at the front, and I'm playing and just looking at them. And that was brilliant. That was the highlight for me, as well as the reaction, the crowd reaction. And we had people, do you know what? We had people coming from all over the country. We had Louise coming down from, I think, Edinburgh. We had this crew from Derby. We had people coming up from over from Dublin, Coventry, London. It's like, freaking hell. It's just really sort of makes you go, that thing again about, I just didn't realise how appreciated we were as a band and stuff. So,
I mean, so we've got this gig coming up in December. Hopefully the album will be released. So all the best with what comes in the future. The last part of the podcast, I don't think I told you this while we were negotiating. But the last part of the podcast, obviously, it's called Time for Heroes. I asked my guests to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner. Why are they your heroes, and what would you cook for them? These people can be whatever walk of life you want. They can be.
Have they got to be heroes?
Whatever you hold in regard as somebody that's been an influence.
All right, I'll tell you what to do. Jürgen's coming. Jürgen Klopp's coming. And Kenny's coming.
I can definitely go with Kenny Dalglish. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, badly, mate. And then, and did you say I've got to tell them what am I making them?
What are you cooking them as well, just to see how good you are in the kitchen?
I would make Kenny, right, a fillet steak.
Oh, lovely.
Right, and with a bit of, I know what's on the side there, haggis. I get a bit of haggis, make him like feel at home, right? With like a bit of rocket and like little tomatoes. Jürgen, on the other hand, same fillet steak, medium, sauerkraut, bit of sauerkraut. Again, make him feel at home. Bit of rocket, them little baby plum tomatoes.
Lovely.
The other two sitting there like that, right? Donald Trump, Netanyahu. Know what they're getting for dinner? Little cyanide tablet. There you go, you blades.
Perfect, man.
Like that. And then I just sit there and I just like go, no, then the eggs. Like that, and you hear them like that. Shut up, you. I'm talking 40 yet.
That's brilliant, by the way.
But certainly not heroes, mate. Certainly not heroes. Them two are.
Yeah, I can get behind they two, and I can get behind the other two as well for what you're doing to them. That's brilliant. Kenny Dalglish, obviously, for what he done for both clubs, obviously Celtic.
Do you know what? Well, do you know what? Do you know, my birthday's the 3rd of March. His is the 4th of March. So when he signed in 77 for 440,000, I knew straight away when his birthday was. So I think I was 9 in 1977. And I've carried that all the way all through my life. So people go, happy birthday, and I go, Kenny Dalglish tomorrow. And I've said that for like 40, 50 years or whatever it is. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, absolute hero of mine as well. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today.
And you, Mart, it's been great.
As I said, all the best for everything coming up. I'll be waiting for this album.
Yeah, well, listen, look, I mean, things are going well and we're enjoying it. We may be coming up to Scotland. Let's meet up and not if we're, if you see us playing, or I'll let you know anyway. I'll give you the heads up on it. There's a lot of interest about us going up, and as I say, the idea of sitting in a van with our kids for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Put me off a bit, like, but.
Yeah, but it's worth it, and then it's worth it once you get on stage and you see this.
Absolutely, you're right, mate. Well, thanks for that. I've enjoyed it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man. All the best, man.
Cheers, Mart.
Thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you'd like to get in touch, please contact me on the email timeforheroespod@gmail.com, or you can get me on Instagram at Time for Heroes Podcast. Thanks very much. We'll be back soon with another episode.